Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So over the weekend, I was able to get, well, I actually didn't finish the job, but I started actually getting the Swisstrax Treadware up in the front of the garage here. My lip coming into the garage it's not too steep, but the transition from the actual driveway to the Swisstrax is a little aggressive. Sometimes you get caught on it when you're driving in, especially with the STI. Driving manual, sometimes you bump it and you go backwards. And so I was looking for a solution to kind of make that transition a little bit smoother. So Swisstrax actually has a nice solution. And the stuff is called Treadware. Really, really thick diamond plate material. You can get it in like the chrome, basic diamond plate chrome, or you can get it in black. Naturally, I got it in black to kind of go with the theme of my garage and the Swisstrax. And the stuff is really, really nice. Considering how easy Swisstrax is to install, the Treadware is actually a pain in the butt since you actually need to drill into the concrete and anchor it down. So it takes a lot more work, and drilling the holes out takes a long time. I had to go out and get special bits and everything like that. But I was able to get one side done. I'll open up the garage to show you a little bit more detail. But here it is. Here's what it looks like. It's really, really nice. So you can see kind of the drop off here, whereas the Treadware here kind of makes it a smoother transition. So here are the other two pieces. One piece I actually need to cut, but here's what the material looks like. It's very, very nice, and it makes the transition way smoother, way more kind of natural, whereas this right here is just such a drop off. And then when you're driving in, it's just, you kind of slam into it. It makes it really uncomfortable when you're driving in. And yeah, so I actually had this stuff sitting in my garage for like a year. So I finally just had some time. I was like, I'm going to do it. Let's go ahead and get it done. So I'll probably put it in a different video of actually doing the remaining sides. For anybody that has Swisstrax that has a really big drop off at the entrance of your garage, this is a really nice solution. So again, I'll probably make a whole video on installing the other sections so you guys can see how it's done. Let me open up the garage, show you real quick just kind of what it looks like on the other side, and then we can get talking about the STI. All right, so it is dark out, obviously, but here's a little bit better look at the transition now. So you can see it's a little bit smoother, whereas here, bigger drop off, and it's not as smooth driving in now. With this, kind of just slowly transitions in. I'll throw up some pictures for you guys so you can see in the daylight and just how much nicer it actually looks. But yeah, so I got to install this piece and that piece over there to finish it off. And here is the actual hardware that you use. You drill into the concrete, and then you actually put these, they're almost like rivets. I forget what they're called actually. Put them into the hole, then you hammer them in. And it's really nice. They hold really, really strong, and it's there for good. So yeah, so I'm really happy with that. I think it's going to look really nice along the whole entire front edge of the garage, and it's going to make this entrance much more smoother and much nicer. All right, so now that I kind of went over what we just did in the garage, a little bit of a mod update, nothing too crazy, but I wanted to show you guys that since it is a cool product. It looks really nice, and I'm happy with the progress of that. So let's talk about the STI. Now, this is a video that I've kind of been wanting to make. It's kind of personal to me, and I always wanted to share this with you guys simply because there's so many different channels out there, so many different social media accounts, and just a ton of different personalities out there. And for me, it's so easy to get caught up in all that and just think, hey, person is just another automotive YouTuber or, car enthusiast, what have you. But I just wanted to go over in this video of why the STI to me is so important, and why is it so meaningful to me, why I have kept this car for 5 years now, why do I continue to mod it, why haven't I sold it. Just give you guys some clarity as to what this car actually means to me. And I'm hoping a lot of this will resonate with you guys, simply because I know that a lot of people that watch my videos and kind of follow me along kind of have a similar mindset in terms of what they need in a car and kind of what it means to them. So let's go over the reasons as to why this car is so special to me, and also what it actually has done to me mentally over the years. So let's kind of back up, explain a little bit of my past so you guys can understand how I got to this point, just to give some understanding as to where I am right now and why I ended up choosing the STI. Back in 2014, I was just about to sell my 2013 Subaru WRX. It was the hatchback. It was a satin white pearl. It was beautiful. I had it nicely modified. I love that car so much. But I was getting to the point in my life where, not necessarily that I need to make a change, but I was ready to start a new chapter. And what I mean by that is my wife and I were actually expecting our first child, and I was kind of ready to get out of the car game for just a little bit. I was in it for a long time as a younger adult. I had the privilege of owning some pretty cool cars in the past, and me just going through the motions of modifying cars, and it just added a lot of stress and anxiety just because I always wanted to do more and keep on doing things, and I just obsessed about it too much. And me, with starting a new chapter in my life and having our first kid, it's a huge life change. So what I wanted to do was actually kind of get out of the car world for a little bit, kind of refocus my priorities, and then I was like, oh, okay. And then a later date, once I kind of get my feet back on the ground and we kind of get used to this new lifestyle, maybe I'll pick something up in the future, something fun to drive again. So I ended up selling that 2013 WRX. I actually only had it for 2 years. I love that car. And now that I think of it, I wish I held on to it a little bit longer, but ended up selling it. I ended up picking something kind of completely out of left field, which was a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was the Altitude edition. I really did enjoy my time with the Jeep. It wasn't something that I necessarily even really thought about getting too often. I always loved the new Jeep Grand Cherokees. And I never really envisioned myself getting one. But it was kind of that time in my life, like I said, I was just ready just to kind of get out of the car world. I just wanted something to get in, drive. It was nice to look at, but it wouldn't stress me out. It was just something simple, and I wouldn't have to worry about the millimeters, the height was off, or the wheel offset, or how the engine bay looked, or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of get away for a little bit, and having that Jeep really allowed me to do that. So what I ended up doing was actually leasing that Jeep. And the main reason is because I knew I wasn't going to keep it for a long time. It was just something that I was going to experience, kind of get out of my system, and then maybe in the future, who knows, maybe I would have loved the Jeep and got another one, or it would kind of expand my horizons into another brand or what have you. I didn't know what it was going to hold for me, so I decided to lease it. Got a really, really good deal on it. It would have been stupid to kind of pass it up. So I ended up picking it up. So I started driving it, enjoying it, and then seriously, probably I want to say about 3 to 4 months into my lease, I hit a pretty severe roadblock. What I mean by roadblock, it actually made me, I don't want to say depressed because that is a really strong word, but it did something to me mentally that it was hard to get out of. It actually made me realize just how much cars were important to me. Having an automatic car, something that was just, like I said, so different from what I was used to. I was driving around, I wasn't connected to the car, and any, fun car that I saw on the road, it made my mood drop, and it was just, I missed it so much so quickly. And I didn't expect that to happen. I was like, okay, it's a 3-year lease, not so bad. I'll be able to get through that no problem. Just a couple months into my lease, I was like severely upset. In my mind, I was like, oh my God, I let go of such a cool car. How am I going to ever be able to get something like that again and be able to modify it like that? Again, just having my first kid, it was a mindset that was really hard to get out of, and it made me really kind of depressed in a way. I don't want to say I was struggling through it because obviously I was driving a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee, so take it with a grain of salt, but just mentally it really, really was tough to get through. So after those couple months and realizing that I kind of made a mistake and I really wanted to get back into something sooner than I thought, I decided to kind of just buckle down and just like, all right, I'm just going to drive this car, not going to think about it too often, and just, get through it. So that is what I did. I just kind of put my head down, enjoyed my time in the Jeep, but I didn't do anything to it. I did a few mods. I did, basic like tint. I got some black exhaust tips and stuff like that. I blacked out the front even more than it already was. Just minor cosmetic stuff just to kind of get me through. And then probably about a year into the lease, I was like, all right, I really, really need to get into something. How can I get out of this lease early without having to roll my payments into a new car or anything like that? Like, what can I do? And at that time in 2015, 2016, this car just kind of came out. And naturally I did my due diligence. I went through all the different cars that were kind of in the similar category and started looking through and just kind of, loosely looking. But I knew in my mind it would have been impossible to get out of this lease early and be able to get into something like this. So I kept on looking. I was emailing a bunch of dealers trying to get a deal and everything, and it just wasn't working. So I kind of put it on the back burner, and I was like, okay, let's take this time to really, really focus on what I'm looking for in a car and, make sure that next thing is what I really want. I don't want to make another mistake. I don't want to be in a position where I would think, a couple months, oh, I wish I got this, or I shouldn't have done that. I really want to make sure this next decision is something that is going to keep me satisfied and happy for at least 5 years. So believe it or not, exactly 2 years into my Jeep lease, I ended up purchasing my 2017 Subaru STI. I got this from a local dealer of mine. It was on the lot, fell in love with it. I knew exactly what I wanted. It was literally exactly the spec I was going to order from Subaru, but thankfully they had this on the lot, and I ended up purchasing it. And from that day, my mindset completely changed. And what I mean by changing my mindset is that it made me realize that I don't need the fastest, the coolest, the most expensive, the best car in the entire world to be happy. So you guys know the Subaru STI is just so simple. There's nothing really to it. It's just a 4-cylinder turbo, manual transmission. There's no crazy electronics to be able to control the suspension or control the exhaust sound or opening flaps or anything like that. You literally just get in and drive. This kind of car is old school technology now. You don't get the mechanical steering feeling anymore. You don't get the car that you can just get in and completely control yourself. There's computers controlling everything these days. And for how simple this car is, it made me kind of take a few steps back and made me realize, like, wow, this is all I need. I just need a good manual transmission car that's just fun to drive. I don't need something with 800 horsepower. I don't need something that's just, good in the straight lines. I just want something fun that connects me to the road, and then I'm able to take in the twisties and just have a good time. And having this car for 5 years and doing everything that I've done to it, it literally has exceeded my expectations far above than I ever imagined. And it's crazy because I never thought in a million years that this car was going to do it for me. I thought it was going to be something that I would enjoy for a couple years, up to 5 years, I'd said. And then I would move on. But I just can't get rid of it. I can't even think about selling it. Anytime that I do think about it, or I have in the past, I'll just go out for a drive and I'm like, whoa. This car is, I don't want to ever get rid of this thing. It's not the fastest or anything like that, but it's just so good. It's just such an enjoyable machine to drive. Another reason why this car has become so special to me is because over the last 5 years, you guys have watched me kind of develop this car into what you see it is today, what it's right in front of me right now. Granted, I didn't really start making videos and kind of documenting the STI journey until probably about 3 years ago or so. So you guys kind of didn't see it in the beginning process, but you guys know that I have kept a journal on the forums with this car since day one. So you guys, if you ever wanted to see from where I started, you can go back and check that. I'll actually leave that link in the description if you're curious. But either way, over the last 5 years, I've been able to develop this car into my exact vision of what I feel is the best looking and feeling STI. This is exactly what I had in my mind before I even had this car. When I was, sought out to get one of these, this is what I would like it to look like, feel like, sound like, and this is it right here. I completely attest that to my mindset. The mindset that I have after I got into this car from the Jeep, it made me take a step back. It made me realize how simple and just fun it is. And also it made me kind of slow down on the modifications, which is kind of funny because you guys have seen me do so much to it in all the videos and everything. But everything that I've got on this car is exactly what I wanted. I'm not sponsored. I don't do anything like that. Everything that I have on this car is simply because I wanted it. And the main reason why I don't take sponsorships is because I don't want anybody tainting the way that I modify my cars. If I like this part, I'm going to put it on the car and I'm going to share it with you guys. There's nothing on this car that somebody told me to put on. Somebody told me that I had to say it was great and everybody should buy it. Everything on here is because I wanted to do it. I purchased it with my hard-earned money just because I wanted to make this car exactly the way that I wanted it. And honestly, after 5 years and seeing where it is currently, and then I made no sacrifices with anything that I did to the car, it made it that much better. Honestly, it made me want to keep it forever because it's simply exactly the way I wanted it. I know with past cars and stuff, I've done stuff that I necessarily wasn't 100% on. I was kind of the plan B option because then I couldn't afford the plan A option. And ultimately, it just made me not like the car as much and it ended up making me sell it. But for this one, it was always the plan A. I did everything that I wanted to do to it. And having it sit in front of me right now has made me appreciate it way more than I can possibly explain in a video. Now, having kept this car for 5 years and kind of thinking about what it has done for me mentally and just overall as a person, it has a huge sentimental value to me now. So it's really hard to even think about somebody getting in the driver's seat and driving off in this. Will that day come? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but as of right now, I don't think it could ever happen. Of what this car actually means to me, not because it's an STI or I think it's the greatest car in the world or anything like that, but what it has taught me as a person, and kind of to take some steps back in life and just appreciate the simple things is huge. I honestly, I can't believe that a car taught me that. Cars are super important to me in general, but I never realized just how important they were to me overall. Getting rid of my WRX and having time in a kind of boring car made me realize just how important these things actually mean to me in life. They teach me a lot. They teach me to slow down and kind of appreciate things. And if I'm having a bad day or in a bad mood or whatever, and I just kind of need to get out, and all I do is come out in the garage and just hang out here and look at the car, and it makes me happy. Or I just get in the car and go for a nice drive and come back with a huge smile on my face, knowing that this car is mine and I've done everything I want to it. The sentimental value of this thing is huge. And it's hard to put a price on it. It is very hard to not get attached to something like this, especially if you kept it for such a long time and you've done all this. So I really try my best not to get too attached to cars. But like I said, this one, just, I don't know. I don't know what it's done to me, but it really has. It's really attached to me overall. And it's such a pleasure to own. I love this car so much. And with the new news of the STI no longer being produced, at least with an internal combustion motor, it just makes it that much more special. And I really hope my videos make you guys understand just how proud I am of this thing. I'm not just another guy out there putting out content just to do it, just because that's the thing to do these days. It's literally something that I personally enjoy, and I kind of hope my videos portray just how passionate I am about cars and this car in general. I love sharing my journey with you guys. I love kind of documenting the process and kind of directing you in a way that I would hope somebody would direct me if I was on the other side of things. Because I know if you never had an STI or a Subaru in general, getting into something new like this, it can be overwhelming. There's so much aftermarket support. You never know which direction to go if you wanted to do something. So having somebody there kind of guiding them along the way and kind of explaining things as much as they can, it would be amazing to have that personally. So I hope these videos and kind of my passion and your understanding for how important this car is to me kind of shows through my videos, because I wouldn't be just making these videos just to make them. I simply make them because I enjoy making them, and I want to show that enjoyment through my content and through my videos with you guys, just to show you just how important this car is to me, and that life gets crazy, life is insane, but having your escape and having a way to kind of get out of the real world and just kind of enjoy your hobby, and it's really important to have that. So I encourage all you guys to find your hobby, whether it's cars or something else, because it is a really, really important thing to have in your life. So that's all I got for you guys in this one. I know it's not super exciting, or I didn't install anything. I didn't teach you a direction to go in modifications or how to maintain your STI or anything like that. I know all you guys want to see is me driving it and just kind of enjoying it, but I felt like this video was important for all, not just me to kind of go over just how much this car means to me and why it means so much. But sometimes, seeing other people post this kind of stuff, it makes you think, it makes you realize what you have, and kind of, not take it for granted. Life comes so fast. So taking that moment to kind of just watch this video or sit for 5 minutes in front of your car and make you realize just how amazing it is to own something like this, it really can help, because I know it helps me. So I just wanted to make this video, and in hopes that it does help some other people. So that's all I got for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As you guys know, we have some cool stuff coming for this car. We are doing actually a lot of different things very, very soon in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for all that. But as for this one, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, be sure to ask them below. I'd love to hear your stories as to why your WRX or STI is important to you. But yeah, guys, that's it for this one. In the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.